What's up everybody, it is Mr. Buddy here, bringing you guys a video about one of the coolest Pokemon trends that's been going on recently. I personally enjoy it quite a bit, so I wanted to make a video going over what it's all about, in case some people out there haven't heard of it before. So, the Pokemon community goes through a lot of trends regarding artwork and what people are into at the time. The biggest one that I'm sure many people out there know about is Pokemon Fusion, which was where people and artists would take two different Pokemon and fuse them together into an awesome new Pokemon. It kind of sparked from a website that allowed you to fuse different Gen 1 Pokemon, but as more and more people and artists got on board, people began developing their own fusions from all of the generations. While I did enjoy Pokemon Fusions, the latest trend of Pokemon variations and variants is something I like just a little bit more, and I feel fits into the Pokemon universe a lot better than fusions. What exactly are Pokemon variants and variations? Well, to put it simply, they're specific Pokemon, but with slight differences to them, which might reflect perhaps a regional difference or some kind of new adaptation that they made. I guess that wasn't really as simple as I thought it would sound, but let's take a look at some of the examples so you can get a better idea about them. A quick note to this video, but you can find a link to all of the artists whose pictures I use in the description below. Let's take a quick look at Mewdraw's interpretations of Frogadier's variants, which is one of the first Pokemon variations that I saw. So there's the original Frogadier that we all know and love, then an albino Frogadier. Nothing too out of the ordinary yet, and some might even argue that the albino variant could pass as an alternate shiny for Frogadier. Let's take a look at the others though, as Mewdraw's does something really cool with them. The other variations that this artist made were the Ghost, Yellow Banded, Fire Belly, and Blue Spotted variants. While those last three might look like just special shiny Pokemon, the cool thing about them is that they're actually based off of real-life frogs that have different appearances throughout the world. The Ghostly variant is obviously based off of something a little more spooky and not a real-life animal, but many artists like to draw ghostly variations of the Pokemon, as well as actual variants based off of animals as well. That's one of the neat things about these Pokemon variants that people have been making. When they take a Pokemon and think of variations for it, they usually look at the animal the Pokemon is based off of and see if there's any sort of real-life variants to it, such as how Frogadier variants took inspiration from different frogs in real life. It's such a neat and creative thing to do that I can't help but be jelly that my art skills aren't good enough to make a variation of my own. One thing to note about these variations, however, is that they don't all necessarily have to be actual animal Pokemon variants. Take for instance this Nosepass variation sheet by Gamma Array on Tumblr. He's taken Nosepass, which is based on the Eastern Island heads, and made variations based on different cultures and artists. There's an Egyptian variant, which is based off of the pharaohs in Egypt, an idol variant, which is based off of the many golden idols you would find in some of the Eastern countries, and Indiana Jones, and my personal favorite, the Picasso variant, which is obviously based off of what Picasso would paint. There's so many of these cool and creative variants that I wish I could just go through and show all of them to you guys. This is something new and exciting for Pokemon, and I really wish that some of these were real and put into the games. One of my personal favorite variations that I've seen recently is the Garbodor variants by Basilisk Free on Tumblr. I mean, just wow at this. This definitely showcases how cool variants would be in the Pokemon world. So, naturally, there's the standard Garbodor that we all know and love, but there's also a construction variant, made out of different construction and building materials. There's a medical variant, which would presumably be made out of a hospital's garbage and medical waste. There's even compost and recycling variations, which reflect the various things that would be thrown out to make them. Variations like these are so cool to see, and I really wish we would get something similar to this in the mainline Pokemon games. They can make it so that based on where you are in the region, you'd encounter different variations. Being behind a hospital in a city would give you a medical Garbodor, being in a desert would allow you to find an Egyptian Nosepass, etc. It's a cool idea, and I really wish we would get something similar to this in the games. I don't think we ever will, but I'll talk about my thoughts on that at the end of the video. I've been showing you guys what variants looked like at the start of the trend, but I should show you guys how the Pokemon variations trend has evolved recently. Like we've seen from some of my examples, the variants so far have all just been inspired by mostly real-life animals or real-life scenarios, such as Pokemon being from a certain part of the world, etc. Where the Pokemon variant trend has been heading now is to make Pokemon variations based on different Pokemon mating with each other. For example, let's take a look at this Chikorita variant sheet by Too Much Green on Tumblr. Rather than just making Chikorita variations based on where a Chikorita might live or adapt, he actually went the extra mile and made variants based on what Pokemon bred with the Chikorita. I'm going to quickly run down the list of the variants he made and which Pokemon mated with Chikorita for the variations to be produced. Starting off, we have the Cauliflower variant, which was made with a Whimsicott. Next up, we have Late Bloomer, which was made with a Roserade. Prairie Runner, which was made with a Tropius. Royal, which was made with a Serperior. Arctic, which was made with an Abomasnow. Potato, which was made with the Snorlax. Snow Radish, which was made with an Aurorus. Poison Ivy, which was made with a Venusaur. Wild Thorns, which was made with a Tyrantrum. Weeping Hollow, which was made with a Trevenant. Bitter Melon, which was made with a Cacturn. And Bleh, which was made with a Bleh. In case you were wondering, all of these Pokemon can breed with a Chikorita, a Bayleaf, or a Meganium, so none of these variations would be impossible from a breeding standpoint. I think that this is such a cool idea, and it's a really awesome byproduct of the whole Pokemon variant idea. To my knowledge, this is the most recent trend of Pokemon variations, so we've been seeing a lot of people making variations based on Pokemon breeding with each other. Here's another Pokemon variant sheet by Growlclawns on Tumblr, who depicts different Meowth variations and which Pokemon bred with a Persian or a Meowth. There's the standard and default variant, then Sweet Tooth, which was made with a Teddiursa, the Plains variant, which was made with a Litleo, the Fisher variation, which was made with a Dewott, Munchkin, which was made with a Chespin, and Longhair, which was made with a Stunky. I've never really liked Meowth, but these variations are very cool. They add in more personality to the Pokemon, and it almost starts to mirror real-life animals, which is really cool to me. That's kind of the basics on Pokemon variations and some of the different ways people like to draw and portray them. My thoughts on them are extremely positive. I think that they fit in extremely well with the world of Pokemon, and like I said before, it starts to mirror real life a little bit more with all of these Pokemon having different variants, just like animals in real life do. It would be so cool to play a Pokemon game and go into a snow area and maybe find some kind of special Arctic variations of Pokemon, like maybe a Siberian Arcanine, or some kind of grass-type Pokemon that adapted for the harsh ice conditions. Even including the Pokemon variations for different breeding would be phenomenal. There's so many cool ways they could implement something like this that it's almost depressing that they likely never will. While having so many diverse variations of Pokemon would be awesome and give a lot more life to the world of Pokemon, I don't think that they would ever implement anything like this. I'm not the biggest fan of Game Freak as a developer, but I really wouldn't blame them for not wanting to tackle something like this. If they ever were to include Pokemon variations, they'd have to make a brand new design and 3D model for each Pokemon variation that they included, including a Pokemon's evolution and pre-evolution as well. For example, if they included 2 variations of Totodile alongside the regular version, they would have to design and create 2 versions of Croconaw and 2 versions of Feraligatr as well. This would be a lot of work for them to do, even if only for a couple of Pokemon, and for that reason I don't think we'll ever get any sort of Pokemon variations on this scale. That being said, I think we'll still get some of the more unique Pokemon in the games. By unique, I'm referring mainly to the spiky-eared Pichu and the cosplay Pikachu costumes that we've gotten in past generations. While not technically variants per se, they do change up what the Pokemon looks like, and I think that we'll probably see more things like this in the future. As for actual Pokemon variants, I doubt we'll see anything like them, but I really want them in the games. The amount of diversity that they would bring would be more than enough for me. Honestly, if they put Pokemon variants into the games, I would be okay if we didn't get any brand new Pokemon for a generation. I think that the variations would more than make up for a lack of new Mons to capture. This has been a quick look at what exactly Pokemon variations are and just how cool and awesome they are. If you guys find any cool variations out there, feel free to leave them in the comments below because I'd love to take a look at them. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.